Afternoon.
Do you have an update on Carson after the tests?
Yeah, he's got a little bruise in his hand, kind of in the middle finger there. Day to day should be fine for the game.
Will he miss any practice time this week?
No.
How do you think that affects his throwing? I mean, it's his throwing hand, right? So
Yeah, I mean it's on his right hand. I mean it's going to affect it a little bit. I mean it's sore, being able to grip the football. But he battled through it and finished the game.
Talked to Jeff Stoutland after the break. He was saying that it wasn't just Brandon Brooks sometimes that goes through that anxiety. Other linemen do. What's been your experience as a player and maybe as a coach in seeing maybe teammates go through that? Have you seen that?
Honestly, this is probably the first time that I've had experience or any experience with this type of thing. I know I've seen guys back in my days in Green Bay that work themselves up for games and then go hit a trash can and they're out playing. But obviously, in Brandon's case, listen, this is real life for him, and this is serious, and he's it's something that he battles with, battles this every single day, and does a great job, managing that. And but for me personally, this is the first time to experience that.
Doug, KJ Wright said after the game that he was, and the Seattle defense was able to identify some plays pre-snap. What do you make of that, and is there anything to maybe a little predictability setting in with the offense?
I mean, if he's referring to the one screen pass that we were going to throw to Dallas there, I mean that was the one. We had a couple other opportunities. We just didn't connect on the throw. I mean, there's this time of the year, there's a lot of film on us, a lot of film on them. You could probably say the same, defensively too, with everything that we watch. But he's a smart player. He studies, and that's the thing that we do. We do, as a staff, we try to self-scout ourselves every week, making sure that we're not getting predictable, with formations or personnel groups, things of that nature, and we police ourselves the best we can.
As you rewatched the game, Doug, did you see any sort of trends in the missed throws from Carson? Any mechanical things or anything like that?
No, I do know that because he got hit early in the game, that there were a couple times he just a little erratic, just be able to set your feet, and that comes with the extra contact. We pride ourselves with the offensive line, the backs, the tight ends, and hey, we try to keep our quarterback as clean as possible, especially early in a football game. It gives him into a flow. But as the game progressed, I mean, it just and again, watching the film this morning, if you remove the turnovers, it's really not as bad as it appears. The turnovers make it worse than it was, because we didn't capitalize, we didn't stay on the field. We had some drives and then turnovers stopped us. So those are the things we got to clean up.
There were seemingly some very simple throws that he missed. So, there's the little dump passes to Miles. One was overthrown by 5 yards. So could you explain how Carson could throw a pass through the eye of a needle downfield, but yet on those short throws, he's missing wildly? Is it a case of the yips?
No, it's not the yips. I mean, there are times when it's just a matter of just setting your feet as a quarterback and just delivering a short throw, or getting your eyes on target a lot sooner than you do. He's such a great thrower of the ball down the field, and these are the things that we continue to work on with him, and we got to make sure Miles is in the right spot too. I mean, it goes both ways. So it's not always about the quarterback. We can coach that up, obviously, and we will. But we also got to get the other guys in the right spots as well.
As a follow-up to that, you said after the game, your statement was, our issues were not the quarterback. And I know you like to protect your players, and it's not in your nature to call a guy out. But do you feel like when you watch the game, Carson wasn't a problem or wasn't the problem?
It's not about one guy, honestly. Obviously, the quarterback and the head coach get all either the credit or the blame, right? And as a play caller, I mean, rightfully so. And I'll obviously take the heat for that. And the quarterback touches the ball every single snap, right? So, and so that's what we see, right? That's what you see. That's what the fans see. So we got to do as coaches, we got to make sure that we're continuing to coach and coach Carson correctly. We got to make sure that he's doing the right things, the progression, where the ball's going. And then it's up to him, too, to see the defense, see the field, and get the ball out of his hand as a player and do all those things right. So we just got to continue to work, and everything's right in front of us.
On Friday, you said Nelson
Is he seeing
and
the
Nelson.
field the way he should be?
He is. Listen. I would love for you to stand back there and play quarterback in the National Football League and take some of the shots that these quarterbacks take. Look at the game last night. Aaron Rodgers is affected in the game because he's getting hit and knocked around off his spot. So it affects guys, and yet he's tough. He stands in there. He makes some great throws down the field. Doesn't shy away from that contact, and yet obviously that's the position that gets the most criticism.
Sean and Nelson were trending the right way on Friday, and then they didn't play. What changed between Friday and Sunday?
They're still trending in the right direction. They just weren't ready to go.
They couldn't have played in that game?
No.
What's your plan for right tackle from now on, backing up Lane if Lane can't go? You still try to...
Well, we'll still cross-train, Andre. We got, Big V. Obviously, Pryor filled in nice at right guard, but can also play some tackle. But we've got some options there that we continue to work with and get our guys ready to go.
Is there a chance you bring that you can make some roster moves there?
I mean, there's always that possibility, I guess. But
Bring him
Malata's
back
still
on the
sitting
line.
there that we could activate, obviously, off the injured reserve. But those are all decisions that we'll have to make here in the near future.
Doug, Andre described moving from left to right in pretty negative terms. Did you get a sense?
What did he say?
He said that it was like writing with your opposite, learning how to write with your opposite hand, which most people probably can't do. So did you get a sense that mentally he wasn't ready for that job?
No, not at all. As the week progressed, I mean, he got so much better as the week progressed, and by the time he got to Friday, I mean, the Friday practice was great. He felt comfortable. The Saturday walkthrough, he was ready to go. That's why you just, again, you just can't take your left guy and go stick him on the right without taking practice reps, without preparing those guys, to do that. And he, he prepared well all week, and was ready to go.
Is there an update on Lane as far as his concussion protocol? And where
Yeah,
he is?
he's still in the protocol. But I'm optimistic that he could see the practice field on Wednesday this week. So.
How did you left tackle? He volunteered, I guess, to move over to right tackle, I should say. Did he express that to you, and how do you feel about that being a possibility?
Yeah, no. Again, Angelo had asked me that this morning, on the radio, and that's the first time I'd really heard about it. But that's who Jason Peters is. I mean, he's willing to give himself to the team, and if that's what it takes, I mean, we'll have discussions. But hopefully we get Lane back, and we won't have to do that, and then we'll continue to work our backup guys in those situations.
Doug, how did JJ play, and what can he do to kind of increase his role when the other guys get back?
JJ?
Yeah.
I thought he did some good things. He's still learning, obviously. He's got to do a little better at the line of scrimmage with guys, on his nose, being able to release and things like that. But you saw the tough catch late in the game, obviously on the sideline. It's great to see, and some of the other things that he did. One good third down completion there, and then the fourth down play was just he and Carson really not being on the same page there. But those are things that they'll continue to work on. But he's done some really nice things these last couple of weeks, and it's encouraging, and we'll keep him coming.
Doug, it's been a few weeks now that we've been hearing this message from you that the offense will improve, the offense will improve. We've been hearing it from the players as well. But why do you remain so confident? Why are you still so confident that maybe
Because
despite...
the offense will improve.
Yes, but I mean, we're not out there seeing all of the practice that you're seeing.
Correct.
So what's happening behind the scenes that makes you believe that there will be a change?
I see the guys every single day paying attention to detail, which means they're spending time in the meeting room. They're spending time after practice watching extra tape on their own or with, bless you, or with their position group. They're with our quarterback. They're on the side in practice working on route combinations, and to me that's a sign of getting better and improving. And I know sometimes it doesn't necessarily always translate over into the game like we all want it to, like I would like it to do, because the defense is obviously, they're good defenses that we're playing. So I see it every day. We do have some new faces, on offense that are playing, some young players that are getting valuable experience. And so for me, that's the encouraging part. Plus now with hopefully getting some of our veteran players back on offense, I feel like we can peak here at the right time. Listen, we're still in this thing. It's not like this season's over. Gosh, we got 5 games. We got a great opportunity this week in Miami. So that also gives you hope as you move forward.
Doug, what are your thoughts on the marriage of scheme and quarterback? What strengths have you identified with Carson, and how has the offense kind of been tailored to fit that?
His strengths and what we do as an offense, sometimes you love concepts where you have half, I don't want to say full field concepts, but half field concepts where guys are, vertical concepts, for instance, down the field with maybe a third element coming into his vision. Those are all things that he's successful with. Obviously, the quick passing game, being able to throw slants, being able to throw the ball to the flat, the RPO game, he's very successful at that. And so those are the things that as we construct these game plans, we think about. Then we got to think about our personnel and what we have, obviously, that week going into the game, and try to have as many of those concepts, in that plan against that opponent.
A sentiment that
You seem to have Miles on a like 10 to 12 carries seems to be the number you're most comfortable with. Is he a guy you would feel comfortable given 15, 18, even 20 carries, especially with Jordan out? Physically, do you think he can handle that? And
I think he could. I think he could, and I think too in the passing game, with some of the things that we're trying to do and kind of get. We didn't do everything we worked on in practice with him last week in the game, but there's some things with, empty him out in the backfield, emptying the backfield, and route combinations that are also part of his sort of his plan that didn't manifest in the game. So, yeah, that I think if you factor all that in, I think he would be right around that number.
A sentiment that Malcolm shared. A sentiment that Malcolm shared was that this team needs to get comfortable winning 12-9 games, 9-6 games, he said, and finishing drives with kicks. Is that how you think this team needs to play, that they're going to be these low-scoring defensive games to win?
I think right now where we are, we held the Patriots to 17 and an explosive Seattle offense to 17. So if you're winning those games 20-17 right now, I would say that's good. At some point though, you're going to have to explode and you're going to have to be 30+ points a game, as you go down the stretch, especially if you get into the postseason against some of these other teams. But I think right now where we are, that's a realistic approach. That doesn't mean you go into conservative mode and it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But I do think that our offense, we talk all the time. We want to finish every drive with a possible kick, whether that's a punt or a field goal or an extra point. So, those are the things that we talk about. But right now, and the way our defense has been playing, I think you got to play to that strength.
What's your assessment been of Dallas Goedert in year 2?
Oh man, he's definitely been one of the bright spots. One of the positives on offense. He's gotten so much better blocking at the point of attack. He's strong. His route running has gotten better. He's been strong to the football. When the ball comes his way. Utilize him in the screen game a little bit. Has been successful this year. I just think he's just going to continue to grow, continue to get better. The more we use him, the more we, use him in space, obviously. But he's been a plus for us.
Fumbles and the drop passes.
Oh, you were referring to that.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, he has had some untimely.
Oh, I was talking about the positive stuff.
I know that. That's why I left it open-ended, but there have been some untimely fumbles.
There has been, and then those are things we got to correct. He knows that. Again, it's it goes back to it's not about one guy, but we'll address that with him. We did it during the game yesterday. We'll continue to talk to our team about it. He knows that. Got to hang on the ball. All right, guys. Oh.
Do you have an update on Jordan Howard?
Oh yeah, Jordan. Obviously with the stinger, he still hasn't regained full strength in his shoulder, so he's still day to day. He'll still do individual this week, and we'll see where he's at the end of the week.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.